And now let me ask you this. You conduct that workshop. You also conduct another workshop called From Pageant Stage to Runway. But what are some tips you give your clients there, kind of making the transition from the world of pageantry to the world of modeling?
Well, here's the thing. The misconception that people have about the modeling industry versus the pageant industry, whatever, is that the P word is a bad word in modeling. You know, if you're a pageant girl, you can't do modeling, or they don't want to know you did pageants. That's not necessarily accurate, okay? Because the agents that I've spoke with, and actually I am now involved with the World Championships of the Performing Arts, and that's an international competition that includes models. So I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But the one thing that they realize with pageant girls, they have a good work ethic. If they're successful, they have a good work ethic. Their grooming is always in order, and they know how to walk a runway and walk the stage. The problem that they mostly have with pageant girls is that they feel that sometimes there's an attitude problem or a sense of entitlement. Let me give you the major example with that, and that's with any pageant girl. When you're in a pageant, it's all about you, in the sense of you wear a gown that suits you, you do your hair and makeup the way it suits you, and you present the best sense of you to the judges. In modeling, it's the reverse. In modeling, you are a canvas. So whatever the designer wants you to wear, whatever they want you to say, whatever they want you to model, however you do your hair and makeup, you have nothing to say. You are a blank canvas, and they're making you what they want you to be. And a lot of pageant girls can't make that transition because they're used to it being all about them. I had a girl go on a modeling job about 3 weeks ago, went on the set, they did everything they wanted to do to her. She looked in the mirror, hated it, and washed it off.
Oh, no, did she?
And they asked her to go home, and then I got a phone call.
Right.
Okay? So that is the biggest thing. So when you are trying to transition from pageants to modeling, it's okay to say that you've done pageants, because if you look at a lot of the countries outside the United States, the girls that they send to Miss Universe are their professional models.
Okay, sure.
We send our pageant girls, they send their professional models, if you really look at Miss Universe. So it's okay to say that you're in a pageant, but you need to highlight your attributes and what you learn and the skills you have, not the crowns that you have won. They can care less about a crown. They want to know that you're a singer, you're an actress, you're a dancer, you're a fitness model. You've done runway, you've done commercials, you've done acting. They want to know all of the attributes that you got through pageants, not necessarily that I'm Miss Illinois, Miss Virginia, National American Miss Cinderella. They don't care about the titles. They care about the attributes. And I talk about how to market those attributes and also how to use them and convert them from pageants to modeling.
That is so good to know, because I have heard, oh, don't mention pageantry, don't mention, they don't want to hear that you're in pageants.
Oh, that's
so I love hearing your advice on that.
That's bunk. That's bull. But here's the thing. They don't care about your crowns, but they care about your experience. And they know that pageant girls, especially if you have a good resume, you come in, you know how to do your makeup, you know how to do your hair. In most cases, your body is in order. In most cases, because you've competed in swimsuit, there are no body problems, so they can fit clothes on you. And it also depends on if you're doing, a lot of pageant girls are tall, some are not. If you're under 5'7", if you're 5'7" or under, you're doing print and commercial modeling. If you're 5'8" or older, you can do that as well as do fashion. Okay, most pageant girls know how to pose in front of a camera. With pageant girls, there's not a big learning curve. It's more attitudinal than it is what you've done. So you must highlight your experience and what you bring to the table.
Now, can anyone make that transition? Or do you think it's dependent upon height, age, size, if you have the look? Or, is it just kind of open? You would recommend, anyone to try and make that transition from pageantry to modeling? Oh,
sure. The one thing that I do with my clients that make that transition is that we have what I call a come to Jesus meeting, okay, where, and that's not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing, where we sit down and we go, okay, this is what you can do if you want to be successful. Let's say that you've done pageants and now you're out of it and you're back to your regular body, because you got to remember the body you have in the pageants and the body you carry every day is not the same thing.
Right.
So for you girls that stress when you pick up 8 pounds after you get done doing a pageant, don't sweat it. Just lose it before you get back on stage. I digress. Anyway, so, what I always say is keep it real. If you are under 5'8", you are not doing fashion. I don't care how pretty you are. Now, the exception is Kate Moss. There's always an exception. But at the end of the day, if you are not 5'8", I don't care how beautiful, how great your body is, and how good your skills are, you are not doing fashion, period. Understand that, okay? However, that doesn't mean you can't do commercial. That doesn't mean you can't do print. So that's how I'm going to train you and how I'm going to market to you. If you are 10 pounds overweight, you need to understand you're not doing print because the camera adds 10 pounds to you. You're not doing fashion unless you're a plus size model. And as a plus size model, you need to be taller than 5'9" to be successful. So then you're doing commercial and you're doing promotional work and you're doing spokesmodel and all that kind of thing. So anyone can do it, but you have to be placed properly. It's like picking the right pageant or converting your skills to the pageant in what you're doing. I have girls that do NAM, they'll do Cinderella, they'll do USA, but we make the conversion, you know, when they're doing. So as far as modeling, you need to know where you can be most successful and then advocate yourself that way.